we are back. I hope you have enjoyed your break. Let's jump into the code. So by the way, this is how it was looking when we left it. Just the navbar was done, font was done, logo and everything from this side was done. Button we were trying to fix to give it a decent enough height. So we were doing this thing here, right? And we tried height, which did not work. We tried padding. What is the problem with padding? Padding says, what does it say? Invalid property value. Let's go to code and see what exactly is invalid here. Padding 0.25 rem. Okay, 1 rem. Okay, 0.25 rem. It has to be. One small text is missing. One small character misses, and things mess up. And now it looks good. Now this is what I was expecting. Like little big button, but looking good at the same time. After my navbar, let's go add the sections. So in my index.html, I already have 2 sections here. So the first one is going to be my section for the main text, you can say, or something. So what I'll do is I'll create a container here, div class container. I'm not really sure what CSS this container class will have, but something it will have. And another one we'll create div class, and this one will be flex container. The reason I'm doing this is because we want the text. The reason I'm doing this is because we want the text and the image to be on the left and right together, right? And when the mobile phone layout appears, when the screen shrinks to SP, then what we want, that one should be above and one should be below. So for that purpose, we need to have some sort of like a responsiveness, which Flex will give us out of the box. So again, Flex container is like a utility class. So for this, I will just go on to my CSS now and try to create a util class here. And what I will do is, or maybe this might be specific to index only. And the reason I'm saying this is because index only have this home page, right? This left and right part. Other pages don't have this. So why do I, bloat my common.css with all of these things? Maybe I'll just add my index.css. So here, flex container. And this will be obviously display flex. We want responsiveness also, so we want to do flex wrap. Flex wrap going to be a wrap. If the width is less, make sure that we are flexing it and we are putting it one below the other. Flex container will also have a flex item. I'm not really sure about the property what we will give here, but we'll give something. So let's quickly create the items here. So on the left hand side for the flex item, div class flex item. On the left hand side, what do we have? We have an h1, the title, crypto view, and maybe a paragraph tag. I don't know, what do we say? A platform to view information about all cryptocurrencies live. Maybe this. And this is done. Flex item is pretty much done here. And we'll create another one, div class flex item. And this will have an image. I don't know what image. We will probably pick something maybe from Andro. Andro is a good resource. So we will have that src. src is nothing at the moment. alt, I'll give maybe, I don't know, home page main image. Okay, so let's go on to the browser and let's actually fetch some image for this. So I'm gonna go to a website called as Undraw. It's a pretty good website. It has open source illustrations, so everything is free here. And let's do the browse. And I don't know, search for crypto. Wait, where am I typing? Here, crypto. There are many other illustration websites. Which one do I like? Stock prices, this looks good. This looks good. So I'm going to download the SVG for this. Downloads is done. Let me quickly copy this and paste it on my folder of assets. Okay, I'm going to paste it inside assets. So let me quickly do that. Revealing File Explorer. Here we go. Paste the SVG. Okay, so I'll go back to the code and show you. we have the unraw stock, this thing. And this is an SVG, so it will show like an SVG. SVG is like a code only. So that's okay. We'll rename this and rename this to, I don't know, main image. Main image.svg. So in my index.html, again, my source will now become /assets/image/main image.svg. Okay, let's see how that looks. Go back to my browser, and we don't need unraw anymore, so we'll close it. And this looks weird. So let's try to fix this. Let's try to fix this one. The problem here is both of these. Now, for example, this div is taking 100%. So what I want to do is, say for example, flex item. I want that, hey, don't take more than 50%. So I'm going to write it here for my flex item, both of them, right? So width is going to be like 50%. Okay. And image also I might want to reduce because image is also really big. So in the image here, I want to reduce the width of this. So I don't know, about 75%. Okay, this width is pretty good. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, and I think still the H1 and everything is fine here. Taking width, and this one is also 50% in that case. Okay, and let's try to write this in the CSS. So I'll go back to my index.css file. Here we go. And for flex item, let's write the width as 50%. You know, take 50% of the width. And right, again a typo. We don't want to make typos. And for the main image, did we give a class? We did not give it a class, so let's quickly do that. Class is equal to main-img, and in my index.css, main-img. For this, what I'm planning is width of about 75%. Okay, so I don't want too much width, right? I just want a little bit of width, and that should be good enough. Let's go back to my Firefox and try to see what is happening now. Okay, so now what do we have? Oh, not this. So we have the image, which is comparatively smaller. It's comparatively smaller and better. But at the same time, we still have a problem of all of them coming one below the other. So how we can fix that? Let's see. Flex container is this one. Above that is a container, which is fine, which is completely okay. And this one is taking 50%. Let's try to reduce this. Let's see if we can, reduce this and see if we can bring them together. What about 45%? Nope. What about 40%? Nope. So even if we try to reduce the width of my flex items, it will not go in the same line. Interesting. Is both of them are inside flex? No, flex container for some reason is not flex. And yes, that reason is type. The reason I'm doing this and I'm not cutting them out is because this is like a real world situation. When you write code, you make typos, you make mistakes, then you debug, and then you do all of it together. Now I've fixed the typo in my code, and you see both of them are together. We still look very weird because I want this to be center aligned. So here in my flex container, I'm going to use one property called as align items. Align content, or was it align items? No, it was align items. So align items, items and center. So now you see the text is comparatively centered with respect to the image. Both of them are still stuck at the top, which we are going to fix. So we'll go back to the code, and that, stuck at the top and left and right, that we can very easily fix using margin properties. Before that, in my flex container, I also want to write a property called as align items, and that is going to be center. So my text and the image, both of them are aligned at center with respect to each other. The text, which I want it on the left side, maybe 10 rem or something. So I'll create a class, I'll create a div with a utility class of margin left of 10, and wrap everything inside this div here. And here we go. In my common, I'm going to give this utility class. Here, let me give it margin left of 10 will take you a margin left of 10 rem. Simple. A utility class for this, and you have margin left. It still sticks at the top, so I want to fix that as well. We already have container, and let's give it a class here, margin top of 1. So I'm going to have some space from the top so that it looks pretty comparatively better. Or maybe I want to increase. I'm not really sure. Let's see how that looks. I'll go back to Firefox, and it looks comparatively better than the previous one, but it still is, it's very weird. So let's see if we can fix this and try to, give a little bit more margin. Maybe we'll give about 5 or 7 REM or something like that. So margin top, I will create one more class for 5. So here in my common, for the top ones, I'm going to give empty of 5. So this becomes margin top 5 REM. Now this should look better. This should look way better. If we go back to Firefox, this looks better. Even if we close this, crypto view, a platform to view various cryptocurrencies. Right? This is better. Now next what I want is I want to show the top coins. So for that section, we'll go back here in my index, and I don't need this extra space. Yep, for top coins in the section here, what I want to do is I want to start with H1, right? We show like a title here. So H1, like show, I don't know, top coins or something. And below that, I have a div. Now this will be like a scrollable, horizontal scroll of div, which we have planned. This will also be a flex. So class will be flex container. But this will also be a horizontal flex. So flex horizontal. Again, I could have given any random class name, but the reason I'm giving these specific class names is to improve the readability. Improving the code readability, that means that just by looking at the HTML, you can think what the CSS is doing. That's why. Okay. So flex container, we already have flex container. For the H1, I want it on the center. So class will be text center. So I'm going to go to my common here and give it a class, give it a text center and call it text align center. Okay. I want this this to be not black. Maybe I want this, that yellow one which we have saw before. I'll give it color yellow or something. Again, meaningful. So I'm going to give it a class color yellow. And what was that color? I need to pick again. So we'll go back to my Firefox and we will check the color palette. And this was that FCA311. Okay. Meanwhile, this is how my code looks right now. This is how the UI looks right now. Now I'll go back to the code, and color yellow is going to be color, which is hash. Remember to prepend hash here. And now this will be a yellow color text. Very simple. Below that we have flex container, which we already covered the class. For flex horizontal, now that we need. So flex hyphen hori. For this, we need the flex direction to be row, and overflow, like the wrapping, should not be allowed. So flex wrap will be no wrap, because we want scroll there, right? So flex wrap has to be no wrap, otherwise it will come on the next line. Then what's the horizontal scroll? So we have to fix that as well. Okay, now let's prepare a card. At least prepare one card. Okay, for that we'll go to the whiteboard and let's see how it was looking. So whiteboard looks, each card has, I think, image on the left, name on the right, price below. Simple, 3 components, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Go to the code, give a couple of lines, create a div. And this will be like, flex item. Now, because we already have used this class, maybe this will be flex item for small card, and inside this, we're going to have an image. So, your image goes here, img. This will be on the left side. So, f left, float of left, and src, we don't have anything. We'll just give the logo. The images are supposed to be dynamically fetched from the network. So we'll just give assets images. oops, assets, images, logo. I'll just get the logo. Alternate text will be, coin logo, coin image, whatever. And for the right hand side, we'll create another class, div class f of right. And here we want two things. First is going to be the coin name. So for example, Bitcoin, which is BTC, to show this. And then I want to show the price. So INR, I don't know what's the price, 30 lakhs or something. Anyway, the data we will fetch, so it doesn't matter. One thing, instead of INR, I want to show the rupee symbol. So I'll go to Firefox, and I don't need Roboto, this Google Fonts. I'll close this. I'll search for rupee symbol. This one. So this is a character which you can actually copy and paste in your code. So I'm going to copy this and go back to my code. And here, instead of INR, I'm going to replace this with the symbol. Okay. Now, if I show you, we don't need this anymore. Close it. Flat icon we will need. Palette we need, obviously. So if I scroll down, you see it actually shows the icon. Okay, yes, the image looks weird, so we're gonna fix that. Code. Here maybe I'll give it a class of card image or something. Okay, now in my index.css, we have to fix this. So card hyphen image. The previous fix, what we did for the logo, the same fix is going to work here as well. So card image in this situation will become your height of about 2 rem. And what also I want is a little bit of padding. So what I'm going to do is padding 0.5 from the top, 1 rem horizontally, and 0.5 from the bottom. Okay. For the card, because now we have to write a card here as well, right? So this is small card, right? Maybe just add another class for the card itself. We can do this because cards, are we going to use cards later? I am not sure. I think we might be using them. I think we might use cards later. So I'm just going to give a separate utility class for this. And in the common, I'm going to create a card for this one. And here I'm going to give the common properties, which is going to be the background color. It's going to be white. Then my border radius, which is going to be 5 pixel, same. 5 pixel again, px. And padding about 0.5 rem, not that much, not that less, simple. And in the index, let's see. Flex item small card. Now I don't want to repeat this, I'll just put flex item small. But anyway, flex item small is specific to index only, so I'll just create a class here, flex item small. I also want to give something called as a minimum width to this. And the reason I'm doing is so that because what happens in flex is when your width shrinks, it will try to reduce. It will try to reduce the width of inner container. So I want key, okay, you can reduce, but the maximum you can reduce up to is 20 rem, say, for example. Not less than that, just 20 rem. Let's see how that looks. I'll go to Firefox. And this is how it looks currently. And yep, the text is on the left side. Let's fix that. Text was on the right side. So let's quickly fix that. What I'll do is I'll just give left to both of them. So what happens is if I give float of left and then float of left to another element, it will still come one next to each other, but just that in a different priority kind of a thing. So now if you notice, my float of left is here, float of left is here. Simple, interesting, fancy, still easy. Okay. For this, maybe let's copy a couple of these and let's try to see, how it will look in a real world situation where we have about 25 or 30 cards. So let's copy paste this and go to Firefox and see how it looks. Okay. Right out of the box, I can say that we are missing gap property. In Flex, we can have gap. So gap is like space between the elements here. So I'm going to open my developer console and show that to you, that for this Flex container, we can give something called as a gap about 1 rem. So it's like a space between all of these elements. So that would make it look, really, really clean. Okay. and my top points is also sticking together. So for this, maybe I'm going to create, we already have a class. I'm just going to use it, margin bottom of 1. And this looks good. This out of the box looks good. We start here. And I want to attach scroll, which we have, but it's going outside. We will fix that, not a problem. But what we want to do actually is you want to attach the animation, basically, right? That automatically it should allow scrolling. So we'll do that. And yeah, let's go to the code and let's try to fix all of these changes which we just thought. So first we do MB of 1 here. Second, in my flex container, I am not flex container, in my flex horizontal, I am going to give cap of 1 rem. Okay. Now we have that, we have the text, we have all of those things, and that looks good. Now let's fix the scrolling issue. Let's add scrolling. So for that we need to add an animation. In CSS, how you attach animation is by attaching something called as a keyframe. Very simple it is, nothing fancy. So attach a keyframe. You give an identifier. Identifier is like a name. I don't know what you call it. Slide, I guess. Just name it slide. And you have to give the percentages. At what percent what CSS should be there. So for example, I start from 0%. I want to take it on the right side about 0 pixel. And when I complete it 100%, then in that time the right should be about 100%. Okay. And this animation I will attach to my flex container here. What I'll do is very simple animation. So it says name, duration, timing function. Okay. So name we already know. Name is slide. Duration about, I don't know, 20 seconds, 15-20 seconds, something like that. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. Timing function, it has to be linear. Delay, we don't need anything, so skip it. Iteration count, we want it infinite, never stop. Direction, maybe let's do it alternate. So it goes from right to left, then left to right, then right to left, then left to right. So like that, it might look good. So we'll do alternate. Fill, we don't need. Okay. And to allow position right, we need to, to allow right property to change, we need to give position relative. So we'll fix that quickly. So if I do this and I go back to Firefox, we can actually see that it is scrolling. So simple. Just by giving your animation properties, you can animate pretty much everything. But we still have one problem. There is excess of this width, which we need to fix. Okay. And there is also overflow. So we want to fix this overflow. Very simple. So maybe here itself, let's try to do it in this flex section, flex horizontal. Let's give a property of overflow of X to hidden. Okay, we don't want any overflow on this one. Okay, and at the same time, we might go ahead and give overflow to our body as well. So let's do that. Let's try that, because if we give overflow hidden, the cards are going. So let's do one thing. Let's allow it. I'll just do overflow X to allow overflow. Okay, I'll allow overflow. And what I will do actually instead of this is, what do we say? Invalid property value. What? Overflow. Are we missing something? Let's try it right again. Overflow. Okay, we need it on the x-axis, not on the y-axis. And are we writing it here correctly? Overflow X. No, it's fine. Hey, wait, no, it's still not fine. Weird. Let's try to do it directly in the CSS and see. Sure. Let's try to do it in the CSS and see. So here it should show up, right? So overflow of X here is going to be, oh, it has to be scroll, right? Sorry. So overflow of X of my page is going to be scroll, but that will allow scrolling on the whole page, it will still allow horizontal scrolling in that case, which is fine, which is not a problem in that situation. we are going to fix it very easily. What I will also do, one thing is, I will stop overflow in the parent. We can do that. We can stop overflowing in the parent. So we have the container. In the container we can do, or do we have some other element here as well? Maybe in the whole section itself, let's stop scrolling, because the whole overflow is happening from the section itself, right? So maybe we can control that. And yeah, so this overflow problem, we will solve it in the next part. Again, you know, half an hour is good enough of time for focus. And yep, I will see you in the next part. Okay, bye-bye.